Alhamdulillahi wahda, wassalatu wassalamu ala man la nabiyya ba'da, amma ba'd. So we have been talking about a word in Arabic language. It is called kalima, and kalima are of three types: ism, fail, and harf. And then we started discussing different aspects of ism. Ism being noun, you look at noun from four different aspects, and that is true for all languages. So you look at whether the ism is definite or indefinite, which is ma'rifa or nakira. Or you look at whether the word itself is gender wise masculine or feminine. Then you look at their number, whether they're singular, plural, or dual. In Arabic, you have singular and dual as well, which means two, and then plural is three or more. And then you look at their state, which state they are in, declension. They may be in accusative, nominative, or genitive cases. And you put those together, two of them together, they can make a complete sense. Then it is called a murakkab tam. Compound is murakkab, tam complete. So compound, which is complete, means it gives complete meaning. In other words, you can call it a jumla, a sentence where you can full stop. And sometimes it does not give complete meaning, complete sense. Rather, it gives you some idea, but you're still expecting the speaker to say something after that. For example, if I say a beautiful house, you want to know something about that. So that's a compound which is naqis. Naqis means incomplete, incomplete compound. And then we discussed some of those incomplete ones. The first one was murakkab tawsifi. Murakkab tawsifi is adjectival compound, where the two parts are called mawsoof and sifa. Mawsoof and sifa. First part is called mawsoof. Second part is called sifa. Mawsoof is the one being described, and sifa is the attribute, the description. It's a type of a murakkab naqis, incomplete compound. The first part is called mawsoof. Second part is called sifa. And they correspond to each other in all four respects we just mentioned. So they have to be, if the mawsoof is muzakkar, the sifa should be muzakkar. Mawsoof is muannas, feminine, the sifa should be feminine. Likewise, if they're one, it should be one. If it's dual two, then it should be two. If the mawsoof is plural, the sifa should be plural. So they should correspond to each other in all four respects, with one exception. Exception being the plural of unintelligent being. Unintelligent being mean anyone other than a human being, jinni, or angels. These three are considered intelligent ones. Other than them being animal or places or houses or trees, they are together collectively called unintelligent being. So when their plural is being used, we consider that to be a group. And a group in Arabic is called jama'ah. Jama'atun, jama'ah. When you stop at that rounded tie, it becomes jama'ah. And jama'ah is a feminine singular word. So you bring about their sifa as singular feminine. Okay, we've mentioned it before. This is just a quick revision. Then we also discussed the issue of murakkab idafi. Murakkab idafi is a compound which is incomplete as well, like murakkab tawsifi. But here we have two parts. The first part is called mudaf, mudaf, and second part is called mudaf ilay. Mudaf, mudaf ilay. First part is mudaf, the one is being referred to something, possessed by something, and the one possessing is called mudaf, mudaf ilay. So that's two compounds cover. Both are naqis, murakkab tawsifi, and this is murakkab idafi. Idafa means you are making some relationship between the two. So as in English, we would say book of so and so, or apostrophe s, book, her book, his book. This is all murakkab idafi, mudaf, mudaf ilay. That was mawsoof sifa. This one is mudaf, mudaf ilay. So mudaf, which is the first part, does not carry al or tanween. It can never have al. So even if you say al generally, al masjid, but if you want to say al bayt, that is fine. Al bayt, the house. But if you wanted to say the house of Allah, for example, so you cannot put al to bayt and Allah both. Obviously, you have to remove that al. You just say baytullah, kitabullah, not al kitab Allah, no, because you're making it a possessive case. The book of Allah, the house of the man, the book of or the pen of the girl. So when you make something possessed by something else, then the first part, which is mudaf, cannot take al. So the first part cannot take al, which is tanween and tanween. It cannot take tanween. It cannot take al. Mudaf cannot take al. Mudaf cannot take tanween because it is by definition a ma'rifa anyway. So it doesn't need al. And tanween suggests nakira. So you don't want it to carry tanween. And the mudaf ilay, which is the second part, it is always in genitive case, in genitive state, majroor form. Okay. And mudaf comes before mudaf ilay in that order. It has to keep that order. And if you wanted to put anything in between, you can't. You cannot put anything between mudaf and mudaf ilay. Rather, if you wanted to bring about the description of that mudaf, so if you wanted to say not just the book of Allah, rather the magnificent book of Allah, the beautiful book of Allah, the honorable book of Allah. So then the honorable bit, which is the description of that book, you have to bring after the mudaf ilayh. So you would say Kitabullahi al-Azim rather than Kitabu al-Kitabu al-Azimu and then Allah. No, you don't do it like this. You bring about mudaf ilayh next to each other and then sifa goes afterwards. Okay. And there could be more than one mudaf and mudaf ilayh. You don't have to just say the book of Allah. You can say the page of the book of Allah, the color of the book of Allah, the beauty of the book of Allah. Or you could say even longer sentence like the color of the key of the door of the house of the son of so and so. So it could be of, as in any language. So they all become, the first part becomes mudaf, second part becomes mudaf ilayh. They can continue to become mudaf ilayh. So make sure that when you make something mudaf ilayh, it can take al, yet if it is going to be mudaf of something else, the next word, you have to remove that al or tanween from it. You have to be very careful about that. Okay. Let's do some practice. So we are saying al-miftah, there's one word there, al-miftah. Al-miftah means the key. Al-bab means the key, the door. Al-bab means the door. They're both ma'rifah, they're both muzakkar. You need to bring about, so you would need to make this as mudaf ilayhi, and together this mudaf ilayhi will become mawsoof, and you bring a description of mudaf ilayhi, and after that you come up with a khabar, which is the predicate. So how would we say it? We can say it like this: Miftahul babi, because you're making miftah as mudaf, and mudaf does not take al. So you have to remove that al from there. So you would say Miftahul babi. Bab is mudaf ilayhi, which is in majroor state. So you would say Miftahul babi, the key of the door, and big door you could say. Old key you could say. Miftahul babi, look at that. Al-kabiru, the big key of the door is maksurun, is broken. So the big key is now mawsuf sifa of the door is mudaf ilayh. Mudaf ilayh becomes the mubtada, which is the subject. And then you're telling us about that, which is going to be the predicate. So you would say the big key of the door is broken. So this broken is the khabar, the predicate, which is describing whatever you said in the beginning. You're telling us something about it. And you can do that in positive sense, affirmative sense, or you can negate about something. It's not broken, you can say. The key of the big door is not broken. You could say the big door, or this al-kabir could be the attribute of the door, the big door or gate, or it could be the attribute of the key. How do you know this is the attribute of door or the key? Just by looking at that declension. So declension would help you there. So if miftahu has dhamma on it, the sifa, this is going to be mawsuf. The sifa would be al-kabir. So what should that have on it? Dhamma, same thing. So if it was miftahul babi al-kabiru, then that would be the attribute of miftah, the key. But if it says miftahul babi al-kabiri, then this majroor state, which is the kasra, is the attribute of al-babi. You remember mawsuf sifa correspond to each other in all four respects. In all four situations, you have to make them go with each other. So if al-babi is mudaf ilayh and you want to bring about a sifa of al-babi, which is the door, then it should be al-kabiri. So that is why it is a sifa of bab. So the key of the big door is broken. Another example, ghilaf. Ghilaf is the covering, cover. Kitab, book. Jadid, new. Jamil, beautiful. So put that in sentence. So you would say ghilaful kitabi al-jadidu. Or you can say al-jadidi, depending on whose attribute you want to make this new. Do you want to make this new as the new book, the cover of the new book, or the new cover of the book? You can make either way. How would we know? You would look at the declension. So the ghilafu is with dhamma. Al-jadidu is with dhamma, which means they both correspond to each other in all four respects. Now you may say al-ghilaf hasn't got al on it, whereas al-jadid has it. The al-ghilaf here, you have removed that al, and you're saying ghilaful kitabi. So does it become ma'rifah or nakira? It remains ma'rifah. Without al, it remains ma'rifah. That is why you say al-jadidu. How does it become ma'rifah? Because mudaf ila ma'rifah is ma'rifah. One of the 7 types of ma'rifah you have covered. You know mudaf, something which is possessed by ma'rifah, is ma'rifah. You do not need al there because it is mudaf. Anyway, it is ma'rifah, so you do not need to have al to make it more ma'rifah than what it already is. Al is needed only to make some nakira into ma'rifah, to make it into a proper noun. When you have that the at the beginning, you do not need to put extra the to make it the, like for proper noun. For possession, you do not need al there. That is why we don't need that al on ghilaf, yet it remains ma'rifah because it is possessed by the, it's a specific thing, isn't it? The kitab, ghilaful kitabi, mudaf ila ma'rifah. What is the relationship? The book owns that ghilaf. The book owns, that's a possession of the book, the ghilaf, the covering. So it is automatically a ma'rifah, so you do not need al there. So that is why jadidu could go with al-kitab or al-ghilaf. Both ways is fine. But depending on where you want to put it. And together it would become mubtada, and you would bring about a khabar, a predicate right at the end by saying jamilun, the cover of the new book or the new cover of the book is beautiful. So here I just made it ghilaful kitabi al-jadidu. So which means this al-jadidu goes with ghilafu because they're both in the same declension. Both muzakkar, both ma'rifah, both singular, and both in marfu state. So this is why they can be mawsuf sifa. If I put al-jadidi with kasra, then it would only go with kitabi because this mudaf ilayh is majroor, al-jadidi is majroor, then would go together. But here I just put dhamma to make it go with this. That's your choice, whatever you want to say. And together it become mubtada, and this is your khabar. Another example, al-awraq, al-shajar, al-tawil, saqitah. Awraq, leaves. Warq, waraq is singular and awraq is plural. Leaves, shajar, the tree. طويل, الطويل, the tall. ساقطة, ساقطة, fallen, something which has fallen. Saqit is something which has been fallen down, dropped. So how do we make it into a sentence? You would say like this: أوراق الشجر الطويل. Where would you put الطويل as a, which with shajar or with awraq? Awraq is plural of unintelligent being. You remember I mentioned unintelligent being other than human being, jinn and angels. So awraq, leaves. Leaves are not intelligent being, they are unintelligent being. Their plural becomes a group, and group is taken as a jama'a, singular, feminine. So it should be, if at-tawil was referring to the long leaves, it should have been at-tawilatu. But it is at-tawili, it's mudhakkar. So it can't go with awraq. It can go with shajar though. Shajar is mudhakkar. So that is why you would say awraqu shajari at-tawili. The leaves of a tall tree. Saqitatun are fallen. Saqitatun. Why we brought about a muannas there, a singular, for awraq, because awraq is jama ghair aqil, plural of unintelligent being. So that is why you would use saqitatun as a muannas. أوراق الشجر الطويل ساقطة. Another example: الثوب, البنت, الصغيرة, ثمين. ثوب means dress. البنت means girl. صغيرة, small. ثمين, expensive. So how would you combine together? Exactly. The clothes of, or the dress of the young girl is expensive. Easy. So ثوب البنت الصغيرة ثمين. The young girls or small girls' clothes or ثوب, which is dress, is expensive, precious. ثمين. ثوب is مذكر, ثمين is مذكر, which is fine. Bint is muannas, صغيرة is muannas, that would go together. So you cannot say صغيرة, because you cannot make this as a sifa of ثوب. ثوب is مذكر, so it should be الصغير. It is الصغيرة, which goes with binti. So موصوف sifa should correspond there. This is جماعة عاقل, not غير عاقل. اليد, الطفل, اليسرى, مفلوجة. The hen, the child. The left, mafluja, is paralyzed. So how would you say? The left hand of the boy is paralyzed. Easy. So you would say yad, so because the hand of the boy. So can you have al on that? No. Hand cannot have al because it is mudaf. Mudaf does not carry al or tanween. So you cannot say yadun tifli. You cannot say al yadut tifli. You have to say yadut tifli. Mudaf mudafili. Yadut tifli. And then yusra. Yusra means, and this is a feminine word. Feminine word because of alif maqsura at the end. Remember the sign of feminine outwardly, a rounded ta, alif maqsura, and alif mamduda. So if you have rounded ta, Ammara, Fatima, Hala, Khadija, Aisha, they're all feminine words. Salah, Zakah, they all have rounded ta at the end. When you stop, they become ha. So this is muannas word. So here you have yusra, alif maqsura as a feminine word as well. Yad is feminine. Why yad is feminine? Because this is a paired organ of the body. Paired organ of the body are feminine, like two ears, two hands, two feet. They are feminine. Yad likewise is a feminine word in Arabic. Mafluja, that's why we say mafluja. Mafluj is the one with falaj. Falaj is paralysis. And if you say mafluja, the female paralysis. So hand is female in Arabic. So that's why you say the left hand of the boy is paralyzed. Al-lahm, al-tayr, al-mashwi, ladid. Lahm, meat. Tayr, bird. Mashwi, roasted. Ladid, tasty. The meat of the bird, the roasted meat of the bird is ladid. Obviously, you don't say roasted bird, the meat of the roasted bird. No, the roasted meat of the bird, or the properly cooked meat. Yeah, even the fried. When you fry it, it's called mashwi. So fried meat of the bird is ladid. Lahm is muzakkar, that's why ladid. So this is how you should look at all of those sentences that we read here and there. So that was jumla musbita, means it was a affirmative sentence, all of them. Now you make it a negative sentence, easy. Same one, you just add either laysa or ma. So you would say laysa al-miftah, laysa miftahul babil kabiri maksur. The key of the big door is not broken. So just laysa, ma or laysa. You can use laysa or ma, whatever. But for feminine, make sure you make it feminine as well. Laysat. For mudhakkar, just laysa. Ma remains the same. You don't have to change it. So ma or laysa, you can use any of that. So just practice it at home and you would know. And if you wanted to make it a question, just bring that or hal before. You say, Amiftahul babil kabiri maksur. Is the key of big door is broken? Is the key of big door broken? So like that. So you just add hal or in the beginning and it becomes a question. Okay. Okay, that was the practice. And let's go through some of the few new bits. Huruf. Huruf is a plural of harf. Al huruf, the letters. Harf is letter. The letters. Asliya, original or root. The root letters. Mawsuf sifa. Original letters or the root letters. In Arabic language, you have 3 root letters generally, and you don't have less than that. If you find some noun and verbs with less than 3 letters, there is a reason. Actually, there has to be 3 or more letters. For noun, it can be 3, 4, or 5 root letters. All the added letters are additional letters. We're just talking about the root letters. So in Arabic, a verb can have 3 or 4 letters only. A noun can have 3, 4, and 5. Remember that. A noun can have 3, 4, and 5 root letters. There could be additional letters, but root letters would be only 3 or 4 or 5. For noun, for verb, only 3 and 4. Okay. And they always get this scale. So there's a scale there. And the scale is called fa ain lam scale. This is fa ain lam scale. The first letter of the 3 is called fa letter because this is in the place of fa. Second letter is called ain letter because this is at the place of ain. Third one is called lam letter because this is at the place of lam, from fa'ala, fi'l, fa, ain, lam. That is the scale. So for if you have those 3 letters, those 3 letters or 4 letters, anything additional that could be extra. Okay. And you may find certain extra letters in certain form of the same word from derivatives of the same word. For example, abada. Abada means he worshipped. Abada. He worshipped. Abada, abada, abadu. You remember it. But abadu is the same thing. Root letters are ain, ba, dal. Extra waw or alif or abattum, tamim, abattu, I. All those are extra added letters. The root letters remain ain, ba, dal. Okay, so that is why we call these root letters. When you look at the third person singular form, it would always give you the root letters, nothing additional there. Okay, and ya'budu in mudari, you have extra ya, but root letters remain ain, badal. Abid, the worshipper, extra alif there, but that's extra. Main root letters remain 3, ain, badal. Ma'bud, the one who is worshipped, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the deity. So meme and waw are extra. Root letters remain the same, abada. So root letters are always found, and there's some additional letters. This is called triliteral. Thulathi. Thulathi means any noun or verb that has 3 root letters. Only 3 root letters. The one with 4 are called ruba'i. The one with 5 are called khumasi. Okay. So example of thulathi, many examples, but I've just put some there. Rajul, rajulun, ra, jim, lam. Only 3 letters, 3 root letters. This is thulathi. Rajul means man. Shafah. Shafatun means lips. Naml. Naml means ant. Tifl, a child. Lawh, tablet, the one that you write on. Board. Katif, shoulder. Wasikh, dirty, unclean. Sa'ab, difficult. Darb, beating, hit. Nasr, help. Sam'un, hearing. Hamdun, praise. And they are called mujarrad if they do not have any extra letters. If they have extra letters, depending on the root, they are called mazid fi. Leave that for the time being. Just look at some rubai example. Irnab, the rabbit, 4 letters. Okay. Daftar, register. Funduq, hotel. Mishmish, apricot. Filfil, full, falfal. You can say falafal, the same word for different pronunciation, and means the same thing, which is pepper. So, and then you have some verbs as well. Dahraja, to roll. Ba'thara, together. Damdama, to show anger and then, demolish. Hamdala, to praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Waswasa, to whisper. So 4 letters. Okay. And then 5 letters as well for noun only. Verbs do not take 5 letters. Safarjal, squints. Ghadanfar is a name for lion. Namudaj is a pattern, a scale, a foam. Khurtum, a hose, and also the tusk of the elephant. Zamarrud, emerald. Okay. Forget about that. We already touched upon this. I would leave it there because that is too much. That would come at a later stage. I just want you to remember this. Fa, ain, lam. Fa, ain, lam. So every letter in Arabic, you would find out the first letter is called fa kalima. Second is ain kalima. Third is lam kalima from fi'l. Fi'l means verb in Arabic. Okay, so remember that. Fa kalima, ain kalima, lam kalima. And let's look at some of the examples. Sabr. What is the fa kalima there? Fa kalima is sad. What is the ain kalima? Ba. Lam kalima? Ra. Look at that. What is fa kalima in the next one? Dars. Dal. What is ra? Ra is at ain kalima. Sin is lam kalima. Katif. Kaf is fa kalima. Ta is ain kalima. And fa is lam kalima. So this is how it goes. For extra 4 letters, the scale becomes fa'lala. Fa'lala. So 2 lams right at the end. Aqrab. Aqrab means scorpion. Ain is fa kalima. Qaf is ain kalima. Ra is lam kalima. And ba is another lam kalima. Ja'far. Ja'far is like a lake. So jim is fa kalima. Ain kalima. There's exception there. Fa is because they share the same ain at ain position. Fa is lam kalima and ra is lam kalima as well. And for 5, fa'allala. So fa ain and lam, 3 lams at the end. Fa'allala. Safarjala. Sin is fa kalima, fa is ain kalima, ra is lam kalima, jim is lam kalima, and lam is lam kalima. So this is how it goes. Quince. Safarjal means. Okay, let's do some practice. Rajulun. What is the scale here? What you need to do is to just put the root letters in your mind and put fa, ain, lam, keeping the same i'rab, same signs. So fa, u, lun. Rajulun is fa'ulun. Just put fa, ain, lam there. Rajulun, fa'ulun. What about mulukun? You can write down fu'ulun. Fu'ulun. So vaw is extra. Root letters are mim, lam, kaf. Malik, mulk, malik. So mim, lam, kaf are the root letters. Karam, kaf, ra, mim, easy. Fa'al, fa'alun. Alimun, what are the root letters there? Alimun, think about that. Ain has to be a root letter. Lam has to be a root letter. Mim has to be a root letter. Alim. Alim means the scholar. So plural of that is alimun. So it would be fa'ilun. See, so waw noon is extra. Alif is extra. So root letters are ain, lam, mim. Normally, if you remember this phrase, sa'altumuniha, sin, alif, lam, ta, mim, waw, noon, ya, ha, alif. These tend to be, not all the time, many a time, these are extra letters. The root letters are other than them generally, but obviously sometimes they can be root letters as well. Ta'lim, what do you think about that? Ain, lam, mi, very good. Ilm, again, alim. So ta'lim is ta'lim means taf'il. See, taf'il, ta is extra. So keep the extra where they are and just put fa'in lam to the root letters. Taf'il. Islamun. Lam. Islam. Yeah, mim. And what's the first one? Sin. Sin, lam, mim. Salama. Islam. Salamati. Salam. So salim. So sin, lam, mim. So what scale would that be? Put these root letters where they belong and leave the rest as they are. What would that be? If'alun, Islamun, If'alun. Do one more. Munadhara. What are the root letters? Think about something. Yeah. Mim could be. Yeah, let's have a look. And how about noon? And dha and ra. Dha and ra look very much that they should be. Alif, rounded ta, they can always be there as additional. Mim and noon, they can both be additional, but one of them has to be. So normally, what word do you use? It depends on your vocabulary sometimes. Nazar. Nazar means to see. Yeah, so nazar. So nazar. So munazara is from nazar, from nazir, nazar. Nazara is the glasses. So mufa'ala, mufa'ala, munazara. So this is how you go. Okay. So I will just show you very quickly, but you practice the rest and come up with, the what scale do you think they have? Don't cheat, but just do it on your own. The rest of the word, okay? I did it here for you, but you don't do it. Okay, little bit on the verb forms. You've already done فعل, فعلا, فعلوا, فعلت, فعلتا, فعلنا, فعلتا, فعلتما, فعلتم, فعلتي, فعلتما, فعلتن, فعلت, فعلنا. So those are the 14 paradigms. You could do that the majhul form, which is passive voice form, passive form. فعل becomes فعل, فعلا, فعلا, فعلوا, فعلت, فعلتا, فعلنا, فعلتا, فعلتما, فعلتم, فعلتي, فعلتما, فعلتن, فعلت, فعلنا. And if you want to make it a negative, you just use ma before it. Just prefix it with ma. Fa'ala becomes ma fa'ala. Ma fa'ala, ma fa'alu means they haven't done, he hasn't done, they haven't done. So this is how it goes. Ma fa'alat, ma fa'alata, ma fa'alna. Ma fa'alta, ma fa'altuma, ma fa'altum, ma fa'alti, ma fa'altuma, ma fa'altunna, ma fa'altu, ma fa'alna. So easy. So this is how it goes, okay, all the way to the end. Then we talk about some of the particles that are attached with the pronouns. Huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, ana, nahnu. These are all pronouns of 14 categories, 14 levels. You just put inna before that. Anna, ka'anna, lakinna, layta. These are all called the one that makes a pronoun or noun into mansub state, into accusative state. So this is what they've done. With anna, if you change it ka'anna into anna, it will be annahu, annahuma, annahum, annaha, annahuma, annahunna, annaka, annakuma, annakum, annaki, annakuma, annakunna, annani, annana, or anni, anna, both ways fine. So you do that. And for majroor state, you do ila. There are many, 14 different types of, even more than that, which is ila, min, an, yes, fa, li, ba. They are all preposition. They all go with these damair, these huwa, huma, hum. And if you put ila there, ila plus huwa becomes ilayhi. Ilayhi. That's why I say ilayhi raddu ilmu sa'a. إليه المصير إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. إليه means towards him. إلى means towards. He, him. So it should be إليه, but you don't find it easy to pronounce. So that is why they say إليه. إليهما إليهم إليها إليهما إليهن إليك أنت إليكما إليكم إليك إليكما إليكن إلي إلينا. Okay, let's leave that there and just go on to Kitab al-Asasi. So we started off with this chapter Ad-Darsul Hadi Ashar. Hadi Ashar. So 21st lesson. Okay. Oh, sorry, Ashar, 11th lesson. Al-Hadi is 1, Ashar is 10, not Ashrun. I was saying 21. It's 11. So 11th chapter, Al-Hadi Ashar, 10 plus 1. Hadi is 10. Hadi is 1, Ashar is 10. Okay. 11th letter. Hadiqatul Hayawanat. The garden of animal means zoo. Okay, zoo. Timsah is crocodile. You could see it. Thu'ban, a python. Asad, lion. Shibl, cub. Feel, elephant. Zarafa, giraffe. Khirtit, rhino. Dhi'b, wolf. Dub, bear. Tha'lab, fox. Namir, tiger. Himar, donkey. Hisan or faras or khayl is horse. Qird is monkey. Kalb, dog. Jamal, camel. Far, mouse. Baqarah, cow. Ghazal, gazelle. Deer. Qat, I keep saying qat is another word in there. Qat means only, ever, never. But qittun means a cat. Hirra as well. Hirrun, hirra, yeah, hir. And dhil is shadow. Okay. Na'ama, ostrich. Tawus, peacock. Usfur, sparrow. Ghurab, this is ba. Ghurab is a crow. Dik, rooster. Tuyur, birds. Tayr is Tayran ababil. Tayr is bird. Plural is tuyur. Qafas, cage. Haris, keeper, gatekeeper. Zail, tail. Zail is tail. Rish, feathers. So feathers. Okay, these are the words that they mentioned. Hopefully you would remember them. Keep revising it. Okay, what is this? Namir is tiger. Okay. Hisan is horse. Jamal is camel. Timsah, crow, crocodile. Okay, crocodile. Again, they're giving you the same vocabulary just to test you. Al-asadu fil qafas. Al-asadu is mubtada, fil qafas is khabar. Subject, predicate. The lion is in the cage. An-namiru ya'kulu luhum. The tiger is eating the meat, luhum. Al-usfuru fawqa al-fil. The sparrow is on the elephant. Al-harisu fil qafas. The keeper is by the inside. Is actually fi means inside the cage, means cleaning it or doing something. Well, oh, by the, so in the normally should be used for by the door, but it means that it is inside the cage, means cleaning it, doing something. An-namiru ya'kulu dajjaj. The tiger is eating the chicken. The dajjaj is chicken. Al-usfuru fawqa al-fil, same thing. The sparrow is on the elephant. Al-filu fil qafas. The elephant is in the cage. An-namiru ya'kulu al-luhum. The tiger is eating the meat. Al-qittu fawqa al-fil. The cat is on the elephant. Al-asadu fil qafas. The lion is in the cage. An-namiru yashrabu al-ma. The tiger is drinking water. Yashrabu, drinking. Al-usfuru amam al-fil. The sparrow is in front of the elephant. We leave that there, inshallah ta'ala. And then Qasasun Nabiyyin, we were on this page. So Al-Maliku, the king, yursilu ila Yusuf, sends to Yusuf. Means he asks for Yusuf, he summons Yusuf. He asks for Yusuf to come out. وَلَمَّا سَمِعَ الْمَلِكُ, when the king heard هذا التأويل, this interpretation, وَالتَّدْبِيرَ, and the way out, because Yusuf alayhi salam, remember, not just told him the interpretation of the dream, but rather he helped him to find out the ways how he could advise the king to save the problem of the people with drought that is going to come in the next 7 years. So he got very happy. Fariha, he became happy. Jiddan, a lot. He became very happy. Waqal, and he said, Man sahibu hadha ta'wil, who is the one who interpreted this? Who is the owner of this interpretation? That's a literal meaning. Who is the one who interpret this, means this dream? وقال الملك, so the king said, من هذا الرجل الكريم, who is this honorable man, الذي نصح لنا, the one who advised us, ودل على التدبير, and also guided us to the way out, the plan. He given us a clear plan. قال الساقي, the Saqi said, Saqi is the one who gives the drink. So that man who was in charge of bringing about liquid and juices and tea and whatever liquids for the king, he said, هذا يوسف الصديق, this is the truthful Yusuf. وهو الذي أخبر, he's the one who gave me the news, means he informed me, أني, that I will be سأكون ساقيا لسيدي الملك, that I will be the pitcher holder of drink, what we call, the one who gives the drink, yeah, the server of the drink of alcohol for my master king. Washtaq al-Malik, so king became very, yeah, he wanted to meet him. Washtaqa, he had the yearning. He said, I long to meet ila liqa'i Yusuf. I want to meet the Yusuf alayhi salam. I want. So he became very curious. Actually, the word means to long to meet some, to yearn. So he yearned to meet Yusuf alayhi salam. وأرسل إلى يوسف, and he sent for Yusuf alayhi salam. وقال الملك, so the king said, ائتوني به, bring him to me, أستخلصه لنفسي, so I make him my private secretary. He would make him very, very special. I would just keep him for myself because he could advise me all the good things that he has just advised you. Yusuf alayhi salam, yas'alu taftisha. He asked, Yusuf alayhi salam asked about the investigation that was going on. Remember about the ladies. وَلَمَّا جَاءَ الرَّسُولُ إِلَى يُوسُفَ, when the messenger came to Yusuf alayhi salam, وَقَالَ لَهُ, and he said to him, إِنَّ الْمَلِكَ يَدْعُوكَ, the king is calling upon you. See, inna makes al-maliku into al-malika, mansub. Inna bring about a fatha on the ism. Inna al-malika yad'uka, he's calling, he's summoning you. Ma radiya Yusuf, Yusuf didn't accept that, he didn't become happy. أن يخرج من السجن هكذا, that he comes out of the prison like this. ويقول الناس هذا يوسف, and while people would say, oh, this is Yusuf, هذا كان أمس بالسجن في السجن, oh, he was yesterday in the prison. إنه خان العزيز, he betrayed the Aziz. إن يوسف كان كبير النفس أبيا. Yusuf alayhi salam was not very happy with that. He had his self-respect, so he didn't like it. إن يوسف كان كبير العقل ذكيا, and Yusuf alayhi salam was very intelligent and sensible man. He said that although I went to the prison for no good reason, I didn't do anything wrong. It was all plotted against me by the lady and other ladies. Even then, the Aziz asked me to go to the prison, and I did it in order to help the situation, to dilute everything out, so that there's no blame on the ladies and people stop talking about this. And likewise, I could get the opportunity to give da'wah to the people in the prison. Yet it does not mean that I'm accepting anything wrong that I have not done. How could I do that? I have to prove that I'm an honorable man. I have not betrayed the trust of my master or anyone, because that would be a very, very sinful thing to even consider. Especially as a prophet, people would not listen to me. They would say, oh, he's a bad man. He has committed crimes. So you do not want to have that on your record and come out of the prison. So he said, no, rather, I want it to be clear. This is enough time now. Tell me what happened. لو كان أحد مكان يوسف في السجن وجاءه رسول الملك وقال له رسول الملك إن الملك يدعوك وينتظرك لأسرع هذا الرجل إلى باب السجن وخرج. Had it been anyone in the place of Yusuf alayhi salam in the prison, and a messenger of king came to him, and the messenger of king said to him that the king is asking you, is inviting you, and he is waiting for you, the person would have rushed to the door of the prison and came out. He would want to come out straight away. But Yusuf alayhi salam was very intelligent and sensible. He wanted to make sure that everything is done properly. But Yusuf alayhi salam lam yusri'. He didn't hurry. He didn't rush. ولكن يوسف لم يستعجل. He didn't panic. He didn't want to do things in hurry. بل قال رسول الملك, but rather he said to the messenger of the king, أنا أريد التفتيش. I want the investigation. أنا أريد البحث عن قضيتي. I want to find out what happened to my account, my case. What's happening there? وسأل الملك عن يوسف. Yusuf alayhi salam, about the Yusuf alayhi salam, the king asked. سأل الملك, the king asked about Yusuf alayhi salam. وعلم الملك. This was the son of the original king. He didn't know about whatever happened. Aziz knew it, but he didn't know. So he said, what happened? Then he found out, and the people found out, and then they knew that he didn't do anything wrong, and they all found out that Yusuf alayhi salam was completely free from any blemish, any bad name. وَخَرَجَ يُوسُفُ بَرِيئًا. So Yusuf alayhi salam then came out in a state of complete innocence. وَأَكْرَمَهُ الْمَلِكُ. And the king honored him. So this is how Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam came out of the prison. Inshallah, we take it from there. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.